Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Molchap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. This is another one of the MSL Top 100. This is Game 78, game between Xellos and GoRush. And this is the semifinals of the You Are the Golf King MSL, which I'm not even sure what that is exactly. Maybe it was a game called You Are the Golf King or something like that. I don't know. But in any case, this is on a map which is called Into Darkness. Actually, Into Darkness 2, the sequel. StarCraft Boogaloo? I don't know. And so we have Xellos is the Terran at the bottom left, and we have GoRush is the Zerg player at the top right. There's GoRush right there. And I'll give you a little perspective on this match. This is both these players kind of their prime, basically. I'd say Xellos is probably a little bit more accomplished at this point, but GoRush has a few titles under his belt, or golds and silvers. Maybe a bronze or something at this point in his career. So this is could go either way. Even though Xellos, I would say, would be favored here because he's been kind of winning a lot more tournaments in the last year or something like that, and it's been a couple years since GoRush won a gold. You know, it could go either way basically. GoRush doing a little extractor trick to get an extra drone out. It's cute. And as you can see, this map does have a ramp down to a natural expansion. It's a two-player map, though, and so it's interesting that you have this very wide open natural expansion. As you can kind of see that drone going by. And so it's a little bit difficult to defend your second. The third base is also very difficult to get, so which is going to be a little bit of a disadvantage for the Zerg player probably in this instance. But in any case, so really looking forward to this match, though. Again, two players in their top form, two of the top players of the time. This is a match to watch, and so I'm curious to see how this goes. I want to give a quick shout out to GoRush, by the way. I actually worked with him on GameNet, and he's a really nice guy. He speaks like a little bit of English and enough to get by, and he was helpful a couple times and helped me out. Here and there when I ran into him. And then I ran into him at a Twitch party years later, and he actually remembered me, and so I was able to talk to him again. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, shout out to GoRush. I never did meet Xellos, though, even though I was a fan of his. I think maybe he actually wasn't really playing anymore when I was in Korea, so that might be why. But he was a favorite player of mine, especially when it was on Ace. I mean, I wasn't watching StarCraft yet back in 2004 when he was really winning tournaments. But when he played for StarCraft Ace, in case you didn't know, in Korea it's military service is mandatory. We just see a factory going down, by the way, for Xellos, going for probably some quick vultures. There's that Marine on top of the ramp I was mentioning. Oh, that SCV is kind of sliding along on roller skates. That's kind of weird. Yeah, it's a roller skating SCV. That's so weird. I'm not just crazy, am I? That SCV's animation is glitched out, I think. Anyway, it's the little things. It's the little things. So you see that SCV running in that wide choke point and coming in to come up this ramp and actually just running right by. It's possible those drones could have stopped him, but SCV is going to run right in and get a scout, sees exactly what's going on, it looks like he's got two drones on gas. That's kind of interesting. So he's not taking in full amount of gas. And we have an expansion going up in the bottom right for GoRush. Let me finish that thought real quick. Second factory, by the way. Interesting. Second factory going down for Xellos. What I was going to say is military service is mandatory for all men in Korea. And so it stopped a lot of esports careers, basically. So the Air Force actually ended up making an esports team, making a StarCraft team so that players could join the StarCraft team in the Air Force instead of completely retiring. They didn't have the time to practice enough, and it was just kind of like the old Legends team, basically, that didn't really do a lot. So, but it was still pretty cool to be able to see some of those old players get to keep their careers going. In any case, so we do have vultures coming out. We got spider mines likely being researched at the moment. We do have that Hydralis den. I'm curious. It's interesting. I wonder if it's going through Xellos' mind that he didn't see a third base. He didn't see a third hatchery, rather. He saw that Hydra's Den. I wonder if he's thinking, oh, is he going to dedicate some money into getting early lurkers, because he didn't see that hatchery. He may also just be like thinking, okay, well, where is this hatchery? In fact, yeah, you see the scout going to that top left to see if the hatchery is up there. So he's actually onto it. He's like, okay, this third base is somewhere. I got to figure out where it is. The Hydralisk force coming out, able to fend off vultures. So it's a nice tech choice in that situation. Eventually, they probably will be one to be turned into lurkers, but it's just interesting. I feel like, you know, and again, I wasn't watching. I'm not super familiar with the meta of this time period, and I'm not familiar with the meta now either, because it's been a while. But I do feel like, you know, my gut is telling me that in more recent days we would probably see more favoring towards speed Zerglings rather than getting a lot of Hydralisks. You don't see a lot of Hydralisks usually, but it's good versus vultures, that's for sure. A couple Zerglings are going to spot these tanks. We are seeing like just basically an all-in 2-factory push here from Xellos. It looks like we've got 2 factories, we've got 3 tanks coming out, armory coming out as well. Potentially to start making Goliaths, I think. I think we just saw Siege Tech start researching as well. It has to be Siege Tech, I suppose, since there's no armor yet for the Charon boosters. So we're going to see a fast tech, and lots of Hydralisks are being produced to combat this. If he goes for that bottom right base, that could be tricky, though. Oh, never mind. Is not going for all in. Okay. JK, I was kind of like, okay, what's he doing if he's just producing all these units? But he's actually just using those 3 tanks on the top of the ridge as protection to build an expansion base. So this is very, very interesting. It may be in reaction to that scout. The Zerglings came in and saw the tanks, and he might have said, okay, well, he's going to be prepared now if I push out. I haven't produced my, you know, a lot of forces, and it could have been his plan all along. I'm just not actually sure about this build, admittedly. But he probably, if he was planning on going on, and he probably would have made a lot more Marines to go along with it, I suppose. Would have made sense. But just going for map control, I could have sworn we saw spider mines earlier, but maybe I was mistaken, because we didn't see very many vultures being produced. There's a lot of hydras coming out here as well. So this mass hydras is a pretty good, and these tanks are necessary against these massive hydralisks. So interesting to see how this turns out. You do have the lair completed and the second gas going up, so I wouldn't be surprised if lurker tech is being researched at the moment. But this is pretty safe play here from Xellos. He's actually going to go into expansion base and try and push out there. And again, maybe this is because of the fact that it's very, very wide open. It's difficult to defend that expansion base. If he put down the expansion first, it would have been very, very vulnerable. So he's trying to just kind of bunker up at the top of his ramp first and then push out once he's got more units. And we actually have 3 gas mining now, and a 4th hatchery going up for GoRush. So he is going to be pushing out into a lot of production, a lot of units here. 3 gas is going to be really, really good. He's going to be able to make a ton of lurkers when that tech finishes as well. But Xellos taking his second base, and he has enough tanks here and enough stuff in front of the tanks. 3 tanks, probably a 4th about to pop out. I don't think he's going to be able to push out, especially with those SCVs there to kind of go in as backup power. Yeah, those Hydralisks are just making sure that no vultures pop out and harass the map. Just kind of keeping track of if Xellos tries to move out at some point. So no harm, no foul at this point in time. Armory, it looks like was upgrading, beginning some upgrades, probably weapons upgrades for the tanks. There's those lurkers. That's what I was talking about. So he built up a lot of gas. We've got 8 lurkers being built right now. Possibly even more to be made with those couple hydras. So we've got Lurkerling in the works, and it's a pretty good combination against tanks and Goliaths, especially the Zerglings really, really good against Goliaths, and if they can close distance with those tanks, really, really powerful. With no vultures and no Marines to back things up, this could be very, very powerful. Oh, and there's the Goliaths able to pick off an Overlord very easily. Excuse me, I've cast a few of these games in a row, so my voice is starting to give out. Probably going to have to take a break after this one. But we do see a mech play here going on. Later on in later, I guess, years, mech play was not very favored in Terran versus Zerg, so this is interesting to see this being played in 2004, this mech build. And then, of course, we had Flash later on, in like 9, 10. Maybe earlier than that. 8-9, something along those lines. Kind of brought Mech back into the Terran versus Zerg matchup. I believe famously in a game against Jadong on Katrina, or maybe that was just a good example of it. But in any case, so we're seeing some old school Mech versus Zerg, which is kind of interesting. I'm actually not even sure if this was common back in this time. Evolution chambers going down to try and get some upgrades. You want your Carapace to be on par with the attack upgrades. Not as big of a thing, I think, in the Mech matchup, because the Mech units are doing so much damage that Carapace is not going to be a big deal. It may also just be for the attack upgrades on the Zerglings. You know, they are just being defense. Their defense is just having a ton of them, and so then you want them to just attack more. Significant force here for GoRush, and it looks like GoRush has actually taken a base at the top left as well. So he's just doing what Zerg does and taking the map. He's got map control. He's got this essentially this contain with, yeah, there's the expansion base up there. He's got this contain, these lurkers, tons of lurkers, Hydra Link. Does he have, oh, this group of overlords coming in. He's got speed. Does he have transport? Oh, he doesn't know the lurkers are there. The lurkers are on stop. They've been stopped so that they don't trigger automatically, and he's got them on hold position, so they're a trap. If he doesn't know they're there, he can walk a bunch of units on top of them. Oh no! Oh no! Is he gonna lose his? Okay, he's just pushing out to take this choke point. He's building a turret in front, and that could be a very crucial turret actually if he's able to see. I don't think. I'd have to get a better look. I don't think that turret's within range to actually get vision of those lurkers where they are right now. But here he comes. He's coming in with some Hydras. These are a bait. He's going in. He's trying to take out the turret. We're going to find out right now. Oh, it is within range. He's able to see those lurkers. So he's able to bring those lurkers back and just give it contain. But if Xellos tried to move out with this massive units without the vision, yeah, now he knows they're there. He's going to comsat and make sure, oh, the tanks are sieging up. Okay. Ugh. Taking some major losses. So this is where GoRush is basically just kind of trying to contain, move this army around. Xellos has to siege up, move a little forward, siege up again, move a little forward, siege up again, and it looks like Xellos is trying to push out to take this third base, which is a mineral only, and the kind of the bottom right, the kind of a 5 o'clock position on the map. And GoRush wants to prevent this from happening. Okay, this is what I was thinking. It looked like he had Overlord. He had obviously Overlord speed. He was bringing these Overlord group in. He's going to go for a major push. So Xellos is pushing out with this giant ball of Goliaths. That is a ton of Goliaths in order to take this third base. But GoRush is going to go in for a major... Well, it's actually not a big of a drop. It's only five Overlords, but still, this could do some major damage if he's able to land on the production facilities. Xellos is already bringing his units back. He sees this coming. The Zerglings and everything's dropping out all on top of those factories. He is going to be able to put those lurkers on top of the ramp, which is huge. Sending out the Hydralisks to pick off the tanks as well. Oh, he does get the tanks. So now those Goliaths are going to have to do all the work. He's already picked off one factory. He's going to get his second. Those attack upgraded Zerglings doing tons of work, taking out the production buildings. I believe Xellos is probably going to be able to eventually kill this off. Ooh. That one tank shot doing a ton of damage. But he's just stuck on the bottom of the ramp while the units are doing damage to his production facilities. Not able to push up very easily. And the Goliath's kind of stuck, this giant ball of Goliath stuck at the bottom of the ramp. It looks like Xellos is able to repel this, though. GoRush actually getting out with some of his forces and all of his overlords. And that could have been devastating. Could have been really, really bad. Whoa! Whoa! A ton of Mutalisks as well has been built in the background. A little bit puzzling given the sheer number of Goliaths, but I think he's just going to plan on using the mobility of those Mutalisks to his advantage. The Goliaths cannot be everywhere at once. They can't be doing a counterattack on this bottom right base and defending the main. So here come the Goliaths. The Goliaths are now going to be able to take out this base, but they are out of position. That is a ton of Mutalisks! Holy crap, it's like 2 control groups of Mutalisks. These Goliaths are going to take out the drones as they exit, but that is so many Mutalisks. Maybe 1.5, but so many Mutalisks, and they're spread out as well, which is interesting. Maybe in anticipation of Valkyries or something like that. Maybe just to make sure that they are I mean, Valkyries do splash damage to air units. I'm not sure exactly where they're spread out, but okay, a single Mutalisk just going in here and is like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm gonna go out of here. Okay, here he comes in with the Mutalisks. doing a massive attack. This is not the best attack, though. I'm not sure why he's just kind of letting his mutas just sheer attack these Goliaths. Okay, he is falling back, kiting the Goliaths. I mean, I guess he had enough mutas to take out those like 5 or 6 Goliaths. I was thinking, okay, well, I knew these other Goliaths were coming in from the side. Able to take a few Goliaths out. That's just a massive amount of mutas, though. I'm a little surprised he's not doing what I thought, which was, you know, you can go into the main base and use the mobility of those mutas to his advantage. The Goliaths, there's a lot of them, but they're kind of spread out, and he can't have some at this third base and also in his main at the same time. He can't have enough in both positions. But now he's taken out a few mutas. Maybe he'll be able to defend all these positions. But GoRush, by the way, has so many bases at this point in time. He's got the bottom right. No, I'm sorry. He lost the bottom right. But he has the bottom top left now as well. So he doesn't have so many bases. He just has bases. And looks like he's going to be trying to take another one here in the mid-right section. And that's going to be taken just right in front of the eyes of an SCV, whose job it was to find out if that was happening. So hopefully he sees it. Mutalisk flying all the way up here to take out these vultures. Very wise. Ooh, mine's very effective against Hydras without any overlords for support. He does have the speed upgrade already, so that's going to be pretty easy to take out those mines. You can move some overlords and get vision. But Xellos, in the meantime, looks like he's pushing out. He's got a massive ball of units. That is a ton of stuff. And I don't think he can just counterattack with mutas at this point. He might have earlier when Xellos was just kind of staging at his third base and trying to take the third, but he's going for the kill now. He is not even going for the expansion at the top left, it looks like. He's going straight across the map. There's this huge open area in the middle where he is unharassable. There's just too much space for the Goliaths to maneuver, and he's pushing out, and never mind. He's turning back? Not sure exactly. Okay, maybe he was just worried about a counterattack and he was falling back temporarily. But yeah, it looks like Xellos is just going for the kill. And oh, here's the counter doom drop though. Does Xellos have anything in the back to defend against this? There's the mutas going in first to take out the turrets. He does have a handful of Goliaths here, which might be able to hold off the mutas long enough, but not this doom drop at the same time. The Goliaths are falling back, kiting back. The Goliaths are going to have to run out of the main. I'm sorry, I just accidentally punched my microphone with excitement here because this is craziness. Those are not going to be enough. We're going to see a base trade situation here, ladies and gentlemen. GoRush has already obliterated half of Xellos' main base, and there's Xellos' famous stoic facial expression, not letting anything on, just playing the game perfectly, and he's going to go for the base trade, ladies and gentlemen. He's going in, he's taking out the expansion base, marching right past the expansion, going straight into the main, and he's already lost his main, though. GoRush is going to lose his main base in a moment. Both players trying to attack each other's expansions. Well, actually, no. Just GoRush trying to attack the expansion there. Xellos desperately trying to build turrets as a defense at his third base. But I don't think this is going to go well for Xellos. There's too many bases around the map for GoRush. I believe it looks like the the base trade's going to go in GoRush's favor just because they've both killed each other's mains. But I think just GoRush has too much expansions to deal with this in the sides. Hydralisk Den going up in the side before the lair goes down. That is crucial. And look at this. He's building a ton of turrets in the top and the side. But there's Hydralisks there. Okay, the question is, can he get his army back and defend this in time? There's only a handful of Hydralisks there killing off those turrets. He needs more than just turrets to deal with this situation, and he's trying to float the factories out. It's not going to happen. Looks like a few of the turrets are going to be able to survive. And no, his last command center is going down. It's going down, and he does burn down. Oh, he does have another command center over here. A few Mulas harassing it. Ton of SCVs crossing the map. Where are those SCVs going? I think they're just joining up with the army, but it may actually just be a fact. He may actually just eliminate him by buildings. It may not just be a factor of the economy. It may just be that he's racing to kill off the buildings at this point. But GoRush also only has a couple buildings left. He has a couple hatcheries and a Hydralisk Den in the top left. The tanks are back. The tanks and Goliaths are going to be able to take out those. Does Xellos have a building? The engineering base, he's got a factory burning, floating. This reminds me of so many of my games in StarCraft, by the way, trying to survive with buildings floating off into the distance. I think there was a time where me and my friends jokingly called ourselves the floating engineering base as a clan back in the old days of StarCraft. He's building supply depots around the map, ladies and gentlemen. Supply depots around the map to keep himself from being eliminated because he has the superior army right now. There are lurkers in play, though. He has no comsat. He has no comsat. How is... But does he just have the forces to ignore these 4 lurkers and kill the buildings anyway? He saw them there. He knows those lurkers exist. He's building a supply depot in GoRush's former main base now. The lurkers are on stop. No, now they're on go. There's nothing he can do about it. Does he have the firepower to kill off these buildings before the lurkers kill off his units? I don't think he does. Those lurkers are in a really nice position. They're getting tons of damage down on top of those tanks. And it's just an elimination. Oh, he does. He's building a command center next to his army because that's the safest place. Apparently he had a bunch of minerals saved up. GoRush is desperately trying to hunt down these remaining buildings around the map. He's going to have a really hard time spotting that supply depot in his former main base. This is just absolute insanity. It's an elimination race, but these lurkers are going to win the day. If he had one science vessel, Xellos would easily take this game. Xellos would take this game if he had one science vessel, I believe, but he just can't push in there and kill off these bases because of those 4 lurkers. And you can see GoRush rebuilding around the map. Command center is being built here. He's probably just going to float it all around. I don't think he's actually going to try to, mine with it or anything like that. He's probably just going to float it around. Maybe he's going to try and build an academy in a corner somewhere and make a comsat station or something like that. I think GoRush is going to take this game in the long run because, yeah, there he has all of his units. He's got this floating command center, and he's building an engineering bay underneath. Oh my god, the lurkers are coming in! They're going in for the kill on this group of units. They do burrow. There's too many lurkers. There's no detection. He's trying to fall back here. And it looks like he's probably going to be able to float his command center away to the safety of those Goliaths, but it is only a matter of time now. GoRush, I think, just has too much control. There's only 3 tanks left as well. He had like 8 or 9 before, and stoic as ever, he's still not quite giving up, but this is going to be GG very soon. And look at this, yeah. So because he was able to keep those bases alive, maintain his economy, GoRush has also built up a group of Mutalisks, which are probably just going to go in and slaughter the rest of this. Mutalisks, those lurkers, maybe a few Lings and Hydras thrown in as well. I think that's Xellos' last SCV. And yeah, this is it. He's just floating the command center. And there's the GG coming in from Xellos. Absolute crazy game. And just a testament to the way Zerg can play. Xellos had the superior army. There was not really anything that he could do, but the counter Dune drop, forcing him into a base trade, was too much, and just playing too dynamically, playing around the map, ended up winning the day for GoRush in that situation. So absolutely crazy game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. And like I said, these guys are both in their prime. I'm going to look it up real quick, but spoiler alert for the rest of the series. I think I said it previously in another match that I did the other day that MSL didn't do third place matches, but just to give you an idea of how close this was and how important this match was, GoRush ends up going on to win this MSL, and Xellos ended up taking third place in this MSL. So the entire tournament being decided in this very, very strong semifinal matchup here. Anyway, my voice is dead, so I'm going to take a break. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.